Namaste, yogis. My name is Dana. Nice to meet you. And I'm kicking off a intro to yoga series for a couple of reasons. One, I feel the yoga practice in a lot of modern culture is very athletic, which is definitely a style that I love to practice. But there's also this whole other world of yoga that should be accessible to everybody, any type of body, any sort of wellness journey, wherever you are on your wellness journey, it should be accessible. And so I'm kickstarting a intro to yoga series. It's going to be its own private playlist on YouTube. And to start us off, I wanted to break down some of the props. And I know this might sound simple, but actually there's a lot of props in the yoga practice that you can use to help support your body. And that could be supporting you in multiple of ways. And so what we're going to do today is just kind of talk about each of the props so that as you move through this practice, you know what to expect, what to buy, and how to use the props. Cool. So we're going to start with the yoga strap. The yoga strap is this long strap. Is used for a number of different ways, but one of the most fundamental things that sometimes can get confusing is how to make a loop in your strap. So what we'll do here is firstly unravel your strap, and if you just bought your prop, you probably have your strap fully extended. So you have a belt at the end, and then you have the full strap. So what we'll do is to make a loop, and whenever a teacher or me asks you to make a loop with the strap, this is the concept that we hope that we can do together. So when you look to see the belt, there should be a little dangle in between. This one here is a Manduka strap, but most of them function pretty similarly. What you'll do is loop the strap most closely into the front side closest to the belt, pull it up and out, and then take the same end of that strap, pull it onto the other side of that belt buckle, and down the back end. And it might take a second to get that situated, and you want to try with your strap to make the loop fully even. So without any twists or turns, it's easy to do that. So as you're looping the strap, try to make the strap fully flat and even. Different lengths of your loop. It could be a really small loop as if you pull the loose end of the strap tighter. It could be a really, really big loop by having a really small tail to your strap. So either having a big loop, small loop, it'll depend on how you're using the strap, but that's just like one of the first props I wanted us to talk about today. The second prop that I wanted to talk about are the blocks. And these, my friends, are my favorite props. I use them all the time in my personal practice. They've changed and transformed my entire life. I know when I started practicing, I used to think props were actually showing signs of weakness, but really I find that props in general really help to elevate and change and transform your practice in so many ways. So we're starting with blocks. Use them in so many different levels. So you have them standing tall, such. This is the tallest setting that you can be having your blocks on the ground. The second setting is the medium setting, and that's where you'll just flip it down onto its side, and you'll see that it's the medium setting, right? And then to make it onto the lowest setting, you'll have the blocks flat on the widest part of the block. So lowest setting, it depends, again, how we're using it, where you're using it, the functionality of it, but the beautiful thing about these blocks is there are a lot of different settings. You can even stack your blocks so you can make them extra tall. It's another really great thing, especially for my stronger or tighter yogis. Stacking your blocks is a really good way to give yourself a little bit more height to your blocks, and that way you have a little bit more space as well. So blocks, cool. Final thing, or last two things, is the bolster. So bolsters, usually you'll see bolsters used in more restorative types of classes. I actually love bolsters for so many reasons, even just to sit on as a meditation cushion. I'm sitting here on actually a meditation cushion, but bolsters can serve as a really good seated prop. You just lay it flat in the long ways and sit right directly on it with your sit bones grounded onto the bolster, and you can sit as such. So again, multiple ways to use the bolster, but it's essentially like a really long pillow, and it is helpful to lift and create space and also support you as you rest. So that's the third prop. The final prop that we have here are blankets. So I often recommend having at least 2 blankets. Here I have 2 different types of blankets, and it's just because I was gifted these and I have 2 different styles, but you can have whatever types of yoga blankets, Mexican blankets, whatever you choose. And when you fold them, you want them to be long and fat, like hamburger style. If you remember folding like that in grade school, it's more of a flat, long fold versus the long and skinny fold. So, and when you stack your blankets, you want the edges of the blankets to be up and aligned with each other. And again, so many different uses of the blankets, but it's a good thing to have on hand for supporting your knees if the ground is pretty hard, lifting your hips up and create a little bit of space. You can roll them up as well. So when you have a blanket and you roll up the end of the blanket, it creates like this little, what do we want to call this? Like a a churro that you can use also in a number of different ways. So with that said, I just wanted to intro you to all of the props. So now that you have an idea on all of the props, recommend grabbing all of them if you especially are joining the intro to yoga sessions moving forward, or the gentle yoga sessions where we'll be using the props very heavily. And that is it for all. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again soon.